Welcome to the Pro-Black Perspective, where black problems are addressed with black solutions. Your host tonight is the author of the Pro-Black Compendium and Zuberi and the Maroons of Ma'ah, the Pan-African Nationalist, Oni. Oni, what are we discussing tonight?
All right, fam, you're tuning into the Pro-Black Perspective on KWAZ Radio. It turns out I'm actually at 999 subscribers. I was about to announce that I was at 1,000, but it looks like I'm at 999. So, you just double check. I guess when I got 1,000, somebody said, you know what? We ain't giving this dude 1,000. Either way, thanks, fam, for coming through, obviously. And this show's about to be good. We're going to look into what Wode Maya said. We're going to look into some black hair care product. And actually, it's going to be pretty... That was actually one of the first things I came across my TL. And then we're going to look into Du Bois and really African infrastructure in general, and the state of the African economy. So there's quite a bit of, meat and potatoes here, right? But before we get started, I want to remind you that I'm part of Podcasting Network.
This is D Webb with the Harsh Reality Podcast, asking you to tune in where we tackle the news of the day that affects our community, only on KWAZ Radio.
Greetings, everyone. This is Koku from the Bitter Medicine Podcast, inviting you to tune in to the Bitter Medicine Podcast on KWAZ Radio.
Greetings, fam. Tune in to The Learning Curve with me, the revolutionary matron on KWAZ Radio.
You are listening to the Pro-Black Perspective on KWAZ Radio.
All right, so this week we're going to do the live beats a little different, I believe. What we're going to do is... I made the beat already. Okay, I made the beat already. And what we're going to do is I'm just going to show y'all how it just progressively gets better and better each time we unmute something. So it's going to be a pretty cool musical experience. And I'm just going to I guess as we get more people, we could just liven up the beat. So it's just going to start off like this, right? It's just going to start off like this, and then, it's going to just progressively get better. Okay? And so we're going to do that throughout the project. I'm going to obviously turn it down a little bit. Or turn it up. All right. Anyway. So we're just going to make sure, as people come in, as people trickle in, we're going to improve the background music. Anyway, peace, Kofi. Peace, real black gentlemen. Appreciate the fam for coming through. So we're going to jump right into this, though. What is this? It's my YouTube. All right, this is Twitter or something, right? So we're going to get into it. I'm going to tell y'all from jump. This is something I told y'all from jump, okay? I told y'all this from jump. I said, look, I told y'all, but keep ignoring me. This is just one of the fundamental truths about this world, okay? So I'm going to say it this way. The objective of business is to sell to the highest bidder, right? And of course, I might be talking about America, right? I might be talking about, just certain economic... Oh, you know what I have right here? I just realized this chat. I got to update the chat window. Let me just update the chat window. Because it's saying chat can't be... The thing about this chat thing, if y'all want to know, you have to update the link every time you do a podcast. So that's why it's saying that. Basically, this is the last chat. Sometimes when you program your own stuff, it just comes out a certain way. What is this? How do you do this? Save changes. Let's see. Okay, I think that might have worked. Yeah. Okay. Good. All right. Yeah. It turns out time was really pressing. Last night I what we were on the Bitter Medicine podcast, and so we stayed up kind of late, and so I woke up kind of late as well. That has its impact on how much you can get done in the morning before you start podcasting. But anyway, so look, so I say the objective of business, and this is March 10th, 2020, right? I'm telling y'all that essentially a lot of black businesses, the goal is to sell it to the highest bidder. Now, this actually has some conflicting information. I'm not 100% sure what's going on, but this is the latest thing in the women's sphere, if you will, right? After seeing posts about Honey Pot changing up the ingredients, I just went to check a new bottle and the old bottle, and I'm sick. We can't have anything. So Honey Pot, I'm guessing, is like some sort of hair care product, I believe, right? If I'm not mistaken. So they're like, when I scan my old bottle versus my new bottle, and it's supposed to be like one of those certified organic or non-GMO hair care products, right? And actually, when you do the breakdown, which we can, we're just gonna pass through it because who really cares? But when you go through the breakdown, it's like this might be an improvement, right? But if you read the ingredients, it's like it goes from purified water and cocoa glucide and apple vinegar and seed oil and essential oils to sorbitol oleate and diglycoside cross polymer and cocoa bennetine and so on and so forth. Why is this important? Right now, of course, cocoa glucoside doesn't even sound too well itself, but this is what people were paying attention to, which is the certified organic, right? And what the lady was advertising. Now, here's the thing. The certified organic, somebody's going to point out later, only applies to the vinegar. Yeah, you get it. All right, so now why is this important? Because this is like a black woman started the business, right? And the intel seems to be the black woman that sold the business, okay? So Honey Pot founder Beatrice Dixon is already plotting her exit strategy, right? This is in 2020. It says, the 38-year-old founder and CEO started the world's first plant-based feminine care line with a $21,000 loan. Here she reflects on her experience fundraising as a black woman and her crusade to legitimize her ultimate goal. To destigmatize her ultimate goal, selling her company. So actually, I shouldn't even say, literally her, she's going to articulate on how her ultimate goal is to sell her company, which again, this is what business is about. Essentially most of the capital is going to be in the hands of these white boys, okay? If you're in their nation, most of the capital is going to be in their hands. It's kind of like this. Let's say it this way, in fact. I'll say it this way. So later on, we're going to explore this question of highways in or the expressway in Africa, right? We're gonna look at this video of these kids trying to cross this expressway, and it looks dangerous AF. But somebody like me might say, hey, I want to build a bridge across this highway, right? And what happens is this: I build that bridge at my expense. Now here's it. Now that's the big trouble, right? Let's say if it were a revenue producing thing, right? I would build that bridge, with the hopes of getting some profit, but eventually I would also like to sell my company, my company that has the ability to build bridges, to either the government or to a more wealthy individual, because one, I would get the money and then I could start my own next business venture, or two, the other flip side of it is that now this richer individual, right, this either the government or another capitalist, if you will, could then build a lot more bridges than I could. Because let's say it cost me $100,000 to make a bridge, and let's say the only profit I get, you're probably not going to get a profit from bridges unless you're charging people, but the only, walkway, we're not going to probably pay for a walkway, but the only profit I get from that might eventually, make me, $5,000 at the end of the year. I can't build another bridge off that. But if I sell this business to, if it costs me $100,000 and I sell it for $250,000 or whatever, right? Then I just made $150,000. It took me some work, obviously, but I made $150,000. And what that does then is that I could go about my business, and the other person could make the bridges, right? So anyway, so this is it. So the idea for Htp came to Beatrice in a dream, and this is a feminine care like vagina, right? I guess. So anyway, so after trying nearly everything on the market to cure her bacterial vaginosis, okay, to no avail, Dixon was fed up with the lack of options for women's vaginal health. Then one night, her late grandmother appeared in her sleep with the idea to create her own natural remedy to treat the problem. The next day, Dixon went to the local Whole Foods, where she worked at the time, to buy a list of natural ingredients for potential solution. This is a little too much information. I don't know why she gave up this much information. But anyway, this didn't come from landing an early venture capital investment. Instead, she started her company with a $21,000 loan from her brother and co-founder, Simon Gray. She spent 3 years working at a full-time job to support herself while launching the Honeypot company. But after landing in Target, you see what I'm saying, and her first round of fundraising in 2017, Beatrice was able to quit her job to run the Honeypot full-time. Now continues to grow her Honeypot empire. She works on the challenges, so on and so forth. The idea, however, if you're raising venture capital, you need to have an exit strategy, because if you give $1, they want $10 back, and so on and so forth. But long story short, I mean, it's not 100% clear whether or not she's already sold. It seems like she has sold her company. But now people like the dialogue around it is not too clear. So, but it is still an interesting case, because what's going to happen is that people are going to turn against the company and turn against her, and it might not even be justified. So she goes, so look at this right here. This is what I'm trying to say about, this is why I put this in the BANs, right? By the way, if you guys are paying attention, the BANs, I mean, the ABA seem to be the dominant, or like the worst group so far, but the BANs are a pretty close second. Let me see what's going on in the chat. We got Alero says, "Peace, bro. You're 1 subscriber away for 1,000. Yay! Yeah, you already know. Let's actually turn up the beat because of that. Okay. Yeah. All right, let's go. All right. So since Honeypot is no longer organic, definitely try L Organic products. They can be purchased at Target and are amazing. 10 out of 10. So what happens is this, right? You have a black woman, perhaps. I don't know if the black woman's still in charge of her company. I think she changes the products to for logistical reasons, right? But now, essentially, kind of like the whole crabs in a barrel thing. Now, I'm not 100% sure if it's still in black ownership. I don't even want to look it up right now, because it's going to be, whatever. Maybe somebody could tell me if Honeypot is no longer in black ownership. But nobody's even saying that. What they're saying is, we'll try this white girl's product. You get what I'm saying? And see, one of the reasons why capitalists will buy off their competition is because they will also, they'll get profit either way. Either you buy Honeypot or you buy L Organic, they'll get profit. Because they own both. It's like they don't care. Like they'll produce them in the same freaking lab and just with the same ingredients and just slap on a thing. But this is just kind of shows you how we're manipulated, all from one post kind of well, why don't we let's turn against our own. I gotta turn it down a little bit. All right, let's turn it up. Turn it up. All right. Let's go. So this is right here. So this is so you're like, what is L? And so L is, yesterday Procter & Gamble announced its acquisition of This Is L. Okay? So This Is L was founded in 2011 by this lady. You understand? So it's like essentially, even though you're gonna run away from this white boy, right? I mean, even if you allegedly say, hey, this black person is no longer doing what I need to do, instead of saying, hey, maybe that means that we should now go back and like be like the lady, the black lady, and do something for our people, and yada yada. Instead of doing that and replicating her success and getting another millionaire, and of course rinse and repeat, where they turn on you and then you get another, so on and so forth. Where in essence, you would get just a lot of black millionaires. Instead of doing that, they say, let's run back to Procter & Gamble. Let's run back to Talia Frankel, right? And let's just run back to, not supporting our own, in a sense. And then essentially supporting the white people's dreams, right? So I say science for the win or for the loss, And we're just going to go to essentially somebody's Twitter account is called Your Favorite Chemist. So one of y'all favorite chemists did a tweet on this. All right. So it goes, she said, I wanted to weigh in on the honey co change in formulation. First, let me state that I am a cosmetic chemist. I have been a chemist for over 10 years and I'm a licensed esthetician. Here are my thoughts, right? So what she's going to do is she's going to point out some things. She's like, look, this thing has silver. It says it's certified organic, but this only applies to the vinegar. And it says purified water. Whereas this says water, sorbonate, oleate, diglycoside, cross-polymer. I'm guessing she's saying these are the same thing, the purified water. I don't know. She's going to explain later. She has acid. She's going to say this thing, acid, whatever. And then sodium chloride and all these stuff, right? And by the way, for those of you who don't know how to read ingredients, the first ingredient is the most abundant, and the last ingredient is the least abundant. Okay, that's just how you're supposed to list it. So you list it by abundancy. So this is mostly purified water, and this is mostly water. Well, not mostly, but like there's a plurality of water. All right. So she says, one, that the asterisk that says certified organic means that that particular piece of raw material is organic, not the entire product. She never made any claims that her product was completely organic. In her original formula, she uses cocoa glucoside. Currently, cocoa glucoside is an incredibly hard piece of raw material to get your hands on due to shortages, and she more than likely had to pivot. That's probably why she changed the surfactants she used. Now that's really, I like this, because I know some of y'all are like, why are we talking about feminine products, right? The reason why I like this is because it also gives you insight into how production works, how chemical production works, in the sense that you have to take into account the reality that each material you use is going to cost something and is going to have to be sourced from somewhere. So let's say for instance, this is from Ukraine or something, right? You might get less because of that. So anyway, the original formula based on the preservative system didn't offer long shelf life. Phenos, and you guys could read this, are all safe and natural. Oh, so she's saying this new one, they're all safe and naturally derived preservatives. These preservatives are found in most natural-based products. The sorbitan is a plant-based emulsifier. This, so on and so forth, is the INCI name for vitamin E. So she just adds vitamin E, they say, are naturally derived humectants. And the last four ingredients add scent to the product without adding fragrance. Now, one of the weaknesses I'm going to say for this lady is that she should probably explain what an emulsifier and a humectant is, but anyway. Lactic acid is a safe pH balance acid that offers your product more stability as well. And then this is another natural surfactant derived from coconut oil. It is widely used surfactant because it has a great pH range. The pH range allows for a better preservative system to be created. So overall, she created a safer and more sensitive product for the skin. Her product remains 90%, if not more, naturally plant-based derived. Before you guys drop this brand, consider doing some research. No shade. But anyway, now I'm not going to say this is the best way to communicate this, but it was a pretty damn good way, right? It's a pretty good way. And what it does is that, let's say she didn't sell the company. Let's say all that she did was change the ingredients. This is kind of a chemical improvement. Because remember, like the chemists, and I don't know, it could just be, the chemists are just giving you hogwash and you go along with it because, what does this even mean? You get what I'm saying? Like it kind of speaks to the need for an expansion of science. And let's suppose that this, hashtag your favorite chemist, is telling the truth, that this actually is a better product with a longer shelf life and more naturally derived and obviously cheaper from a production standpoint, right? And then let's also assume that this company stayed within the hands of black folk, right? This is where the BAN stuff comes in a sense, or it comes in a little deeper in the sense that one, either it's a BAN for selling the business, but of course that's what you're supposed to do. That's what they're all going to do. Or two, it's a BAN for pulling back when somebody makes a better or safer product, and pulling back to go to the white people. And that's just, but this is what we're doing. This is what we're dealing with on a regular in this quote unquote African, this African existence in this European world, or not European world, but this European space. And space, I mean, like, cities and so forth. But yeah, it's pretty interesting. I think it was pretty interesting, but that's about all the time we should spend on that. Anyway, so let's see, what's the next one? This is the fact that you even have a foster care system, though, right? Oh yeah, okay. So let's see what this next BAN is doing. Let's improve this beat. Let me see. What do y'all think about the beat? Kofi says, good to see a black professional educating us on this. Yeah, it's pretty interesting. Real Black Jenna says, I appreciate her breakdown. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty interesting. I'm not gonna... This thing is talking about my mic was plugged out. Let's turn... All right, let's turn it up. All right. Yeah, so, all right, so look at this. Oh yeah, this was it. So it says black children make up 18% of the population in care. Guess. 56 motherfucking percent. 56. If you know math, you know it ain't mathing, okay? So somebody's like, I was going to guess 70%, but whatever. Now, there's gonna be a little bit of dialogue on this, so let's just see if I can find something relevant, because I didn't put any other quotes. Oh, is this music too loud? I can't even tell. I'm gonna turn it down a little bit. All right. I tell you, man. Yeah, that's what I'm saying about black folk, man. I used to go to this drumming circle once upon a time. All right, I feel like the people don't get the bigger picture sometimes. They make money off of black kids still being in the system. Some of these kids don't get adopted, end up in jail, sex trafficked, organ harvesting, and so on. So, all right, so this is the thing I want y'all to understand. This is why I call y'all BANs. Or this is not y'all, but this is why I call some of these. Let's go to it. Let's just say that's why I call some of the Ascari. Watch out for the Ascari, okay? Why I call some of the Ascari BANs, right? Because here's the reality about this foster care system. Kind of like low-key, at least you have one. At least you have one. And the trouble is this, that you're supposed to have developed your own foster care system for your own people. And instead what you're doing, not us, but what the Ascari are doing, is they are blaming, like essentially somebody else put up a comment, they said, why are there so many kids in foster care? And they say, because a lot of people are drugged out. A lot of people are abusing their kids. A lot of people are dropping their kids off. A lot of people are just disregarding their kids. So these are Ascari producing children and then kind of throwing them away. And then what we do in response to this white boy taking these kids in a sense, right, is say, how dare we have so many kids in foster care? And how dare these foster care kids not have, the premier education, not have this, essentially not have parents. And instead of us coming down on the Ascari for abandoning their kids, instead of us coming down on the Ascari for producing children that just, loosely, weakly, without discipline, without candor, without real trust, just having these kids. And then when they have these kids, throwing them to the trash. Or go starve, kid. Or I'll beat the shit out of you. I'll break your jaw. I don't care if you're 2. Right? Instead of us coming after the Askari, right? We go after the state for taking in the Askari's children. You understand? You know, the state does not produce children. You know? The state does a lot of things wrong. Right? But the idea that 18% of the population of Houston are going to be black children, and I don't know where children ends or stops with this lady as far as age groups are concerned. But the fact that 56%, that means that 9% of Houston is in foster care, is in care of the state. And the reality is this, that a lot of nations around the world do not have foster care systems. You know, I know people I know people who would live in Haiti, and what happened in Haiti was, and not just Haiti, in Africa, a lot of places in Africa. You have this, in Haiti they call it the Rest-of-Ac system, and in some of Africa they call it the domestic servant, or whatever they call it in whatever language they may use, right? But the idea is that there are these excess children who become slaves to private individuals today in Africa and in the Caribbean. And I mean, maybe they do it here in America, I don't know, but the foster care system says, no, you know what, you're not going to make slaves of these kids. Okay? And maybe sometimes it might be like, we might make slaves of these kids. And maybe it might be, we might make slaves of these kids when they're adults, right? But on the same token, there is a real structural societal issue going on rampant around the black world. And I mean, to sit in this quote unquote, I won't use the word privilege, but to sit in this situation and say, hey, the state takes our kids and we don't take care of our kids. That's some BAN mentality. Nothing else. You supposed to say, let me take care of these kids. I don't go there. If somebody has this private, Rest-of-Ac thing inside of Haiti. In fact, I can tell y'all this truth. So I'm gonna tell the beat, by the way. I'm gonna bring it to the next level. Let's go. But I just hit up my I have a friend in Ghana, and I remember this little girl, 12 years old in Ghana, nicest girl, because somebody brought up, reminded me of my trip, and I was like, this girl just said hi to me, just randomly said hi to me. I just hit up my friend in Ghana, and I said, I want you to find this little girl. I sent her a picture, and I said, hand her some money for me. Because I understand, part of me, as a Baba myself, I say to myself, I wouldn't mind not just adopting this little girl, right? But if I can't adopt her, or if I can't get her to marry my son, right? Because she's a little older. But of course, eventually age ain't gonna be nothing but a number, right? But eventually, she's like 6 years older than him. But what's 6 years when when y'all 20 or something, But anyway, I look at this little girl and I say, look, I wouldn't mind adopting her. And not just that, I want to give her a better future than she might necessarily have. But you have to have that in you. And you have to act on those impulses, that want, that desire for better for the, particularly the ones that are not lost yet. Because some people will be lost. I want you to understand that. But all the same, I say this to say, hold on a second. This thing keeps talking shit. All right. I say all this to say that black people, that essentially this whole system of adopting, we have to play that role. We have to provide the alternative, and it even goes back to this whole business idea. You could make a business of providing a really good foster care system, and then when the state picks it up, you understand? When the state picks it up, you know, that's one of the things that black folk do. A lot of times, like with we brag about, the Black Panther Party used to do free food before the government did. The government's just copying the Black Panther Party. Now, instead of you saying to yourself, oh wait, the government's giving free food to kids, you're there, well, we did this one time and then the government took it over, we can't have nothing. Bro, the government shouldn't be taking it over one, but like there's a lot to go into, but I'm just gonna let that slide, and we gonna move on to the next piece of information. But somebody was saying, look, it's realistically a lot of reasons why there's so many kids in foster care. I think somebody, I don't know where it is, but somebody was like, realistically the reason is because a lot of us is like killing each other. A lot of us is harming each other. A lot of us ain't really making out to be good parents. Some people will blame the state and be like, well, the state takes kids, so I think why our kids end up in foster care. Somebody's targeting, moms also test positive at hospitals after giving birth, but don't have their children shipped away as quickly. Ditto other reason, Actually, let's see what the parents are abusive. Look at this. Parents are abusive, drugs, things as a community we don't want to address. We have a segment of our community that are not good parents. And I believe poverty, a lack of resource, mental illness, homelessness, and drugs are to blame for a lot. Most of these disadvantages are systematic, however. A person that does choose a certain extent what type of parent they become. The alphas be having 8 baby mamas and be very proud. Them ain't alphas, whatever. Like the point is that there's a lot going into it, and then instead of, and let me see this, I think, believe me, a lot of these people just don't try. I know in Harris County, for the most part, they give you many opportunities to get right. They don't really separate families due to poverty like back in the day. They also work on placing with relatives. We got to do better. I'm a kinship parent, so I'm speaking from an inside perspective. I also studied corrections and plans to major in psychology. Trust me, a person can't do right if they have many odds against them. They need therapy and more. But yeah, the point being that, however, abusive parents are disgrace. Yeah, the point being that, everybody knows that the Ascati are doing this, and then for you to turn around and be like, yes, they have us in foster care. Like you think the state wants a bunch of, because the thing is that I want you to tell you, when I said the business with foster care, you gotta understand that foster care is not profitable. Education is not profitable. It's an expense. It's an expense. And so if the state is taking up an expense on your behalf for you to complain about it, it just means that either you are not taking up the expense yourself, and that's the thing that we always do. We always tend to complain about the expense that others are taking up for us. Yeah, your public food system ain't that good. Well, shit, if I was running the public food system, I would be. You what? You ain't running no public food system? Anyway, let's see what the comments are. I know Lara don't like that. Beat is trash, but y'all. I mean, it's supposed to turn up over time. All right, let me just turn it up. Let me just turn it up to the end. All right, y'all hear it now? It was supposed to build up, Lero. You're supposed to just build it up throughout the conversation, but let's just go for it. Let's see what the comments are. B is decent, 4 out of 10. All right, so Arthur Zor says, I'm in Houston now. Those numbers are shocking. Yeah, perhaps we can develop something targeting these African children in foster care. We can target them for outreach and education in the ways of Pan-African nationalism. And this is the thing I want y'all to understand too. One of the things that you can do as a people is if you provide for these, the reality is this: you could adopt any kid, and you can infuse them with any ideology you want. White people figured this out a long time ago. In fact, they figured this out. Yeah, they figured this out a long time ago. The Catholic Church is just that, adopting black kids and infusing them with an ideology, infusing them with a language, and then using them, weaponizing them in their adulthood, but while providing them a decent life for it in exchange. You know, you make ideological warriors through the foster care system, through the adoption system. Everybody understands this. Everybody understands but us. You know? We just say, oh, well, the ramifications, the negative factors that they're gonna harvest our resources. Yeah, of course they're gonna harvest. It's not profitable to take in people unless you turn them into weapons, or unless you turn them into something that can yield you profit. Catholic Church is not gonna take in a bunch of Akan youth and teach them Chui. Okay, teach them Chui and teach them how to manage a farm in a village. You know what they're gonna do is they're gonna take in a bunch of Akan youth and teach them English, and tell them to why you say I'm amped? They're gonna teach them English and teach them how to do clerical work, so that when the bourgeoisie come along, right, they have clerics. You understand? You're supposed to infuse an ideology. You're supposed to make a profit out of these people, because now what happens is that the Catholic Church can say, hey, look, I got you a cleric, Mr. Bourgeoisie. Give me a cut. Fund your church. You understand? Fund your church. Author says that. So I mean, if you guys, when y'all read the Book of Power, y'all gonna see there's a chapter where at some point I'm describing to you what we can do to get Africa where it needs to be. And I say, look, you could actually low-key just adopt kids. If the population is low in the nation, you know, because we start a new nation or whatever, you could just adopt kids, give them the best life they can have. And then they will be your citizens. Even the children of the Askari could be adopted. You know? You can say, hey, you know what? I'll pay for your trip to come to our nation. You know? And yeah, you're going to study in our schools and we're going to give you a good job. And when they get this good job, they're going to be chemists. And they're going to be biologists. And they're going to be engineers. And they're going to be mathematicians. And they're going to be astrophysicists. And they're going to be farmers. And they're going to be weapons manufacturers. They're going to be generals. And they're going to be politicians. They're going to be these A1 jobs. And you could do that. And no one's going to bat an eye for you taking in kids and giving them good jobs. That's what you're supposed to do. But what we're doing right now is we letting these Ascati, overbreed, and then we giving the state, and then we complaining that the state take them. And the reality is this, that children around the world, when they are excess, they die. When children around the world are excess, they die. They starve. They get abandoned. And they go through the hurtful existence. I'll tell y'all the truth. I had to once upon a time, I'm helping somebody out with their bug problem. It's a friend, right? Anyway, essentially they get these bugs, they trap these bugs in a drawer, okay? They trap these bugs in a drawer, and eventually, what you find after is the life and times of this bug, okay? The bug is shitting anywhere it can, and then it lays eggs, and those eggs, those children, grow up to be a small size, and then die in a corner, and the bug also dies, right? That is the real way of life. That without a support system, things die. Things huddle up and die. And this is the way of nature. So you can't turn against something for taking in children. You can't. You have to take in the children. You'll turn against yourself if you're not taking in children. Like I said, I'm about to send this money over to this little girl in Ghana. When I was in Ghana, I also gave this other girl like a whole bunch of books. She was like, I want to be an author. I was like, here's a bunch of books. Then she was like, I don't want to be an author anymore. And I'm like, this is why parents don't like y'all. That's why adults don't like kids. But you just have to see the younger generation and give what you can. Or create systems for these younger people. In fact, the girl that I'm talking about, the one with the books thing, she was her family, the reason why she was there because at first I thought she was a domestic servant. So that's why I was so nice to her. But it's just a regular thing where her parents are from the village and I was in the city or whatever, and you couldn't get a good education in the city. So her parents sent her to her aunt or what have you, right? Or to a relative or to a friend, I don't know. But she says it's her aunt, right? She said they send the kid over to their aunt so that she can go do school. But every time I saw her, she was doing housework, right? Which is not, again, is it that bad to do housework? Like all she was doing was like cleaning everybody's clothes, I guess. And sometimes like peeling the vegetables or something like that. And it only becomes a question of, do the kids do no work or do the kids do light work? Sometimes people make the kids do heavy work. Sometimes the people make the kids do all the work. Sometimes the people beat the kids and torture the kids. And that's where you got to say, well, look, you're doing too much, right? But again, it's really a question. Like me personally, I would think if I adopted that little girl, the other girl, the whatever, if I adopted her, would she do any work? Because like, how uncomfortable is that? But it might also be that she's like, yeah, I could do some work, like I could do some cleaning, but then, it's like a really uncomfortable situation. So, it's really a human phenomenon. It's really a human question that there's not really a solid answer for, and people are kind of making it up as they go. But anyway, let's see what's going on with the chat. Mr. Untouchable says, morning, what we talking about? But Kofi already said we talking about BANs and foster care right now. And Mr. Untouchable says, why is only amped right now? And Kofi says, it's the beat. You already know. All right, Author says, we don't act on opportunities, we complain about them. That's what we are experts at. Haven't we identified enough Pan-African educators to get their think tank together and decide what our strategies and programs should be? Aren't there enough of us to coordinate action? Foster system, correctional facilities. We should focus on abandoned children and provide them with guidance and direction, a sense of belonging and an ideology. And that's what a lot of these groups are doing. A lot of these quasi-religious groups are doing. And unfortunately, as Arthur George pointed out, a lot of the Pan-Africanists are Fan-Africanists. A lot of the revolutionaries are nevolutionaries. And a lot of the children are going to fall into the hands of people with lesser intentions, because the people with greater intentions are not acting like the people of greater means. You understand? It goes back to the broke woke phenomenon, where it's like, hey, I know that I could help a recidiv. Like, I know I could help curb recidivism. I know I could help curb recidivism, but I need some money. I need to have access to these people, right? But we don't have money. We're like, I can't afford nothing. Y'all see, I almost had 1,000 subscribers, and then somebody figured out, oh man, this guy about to have 1,000 subscribers. Let me give him $9.99. And y'all see the banner. It's like, subscribe, share. You understand? I only got 5 likes. How many shares I got? How many of y'all shared? We need these shares. We need people to be like, yo, I'm coming through. I want to figure out about this Wode Maya situation. But anyway, we're gonna move on from this thing. Oh yeah, this is me right here, man. I ain't finna coon. Well, let me get my burner out though. You know what I'm saying? This is me about to make a fake Twitter account. By the way, if y'all actually check this out, there's a picture of me circulating on the internet. This is the old picture of me. Cause apparently Laro don't remember what I look like. So this is the old picture of me right here, with that wild ass hair. I'm not even gonna click it because it's whatever. This is me last year, I think. No, 2 years ago. I said I have 500 subscribers. Anyway, to be another 2 years. But anyway, this is an old picture of me. Somebody actually got an account with this same picture of me. And then there was like, Twitter was like, can you prove it's you? And I'm like, fuck you, Twitter. I ain't proving shit. Anyway, look at it. So this is like, I think this is a BAN thing, but I might just get my pockets. I might get my pockets filled too. So it's like, if you're a black American who had your groceries delivered because you didn't feel comfortable going to the store because of recent news, drop your PayPal, Cash App, Venmo, whatever here. Let some allies reimburse you. Now, this is all dirty stuff, but I ain't gonna hold y'all. I mean, I don't personally do their grocery stuff because I can't afford it. Obviously, probably I would do it if I was reimbursed. I don't know. Well, I don't know. I don't think anybody should reimburse me. But either way, yeah. I didn't order, but could you please repeat this for me? Basically, quite a few white folk come through and give these BAN some money. So I'm about to get my burner out. Y'all already know. Nah, just wait. I ain't gonna do that. But let me see. I think there was some like right here, maybe. Like when you see there's a comment. Oh, okay, I can't even see it right now. But like before, I was scrolling through, and some people were like, "We have the same first name." I hate to be the one of feel safe and not the one doing it. Sending a little money and not enough, so maybe you feel a little hope too, you know? And so they all just, these black folk just going out looking for hands out. Single dad, thank you. I use grocery delivery service. Cry. Is this Cash App? I have CPSGD, and then they're, fellow Texan, is that your Cash App username? I don't have Venmo. And then, yes. Yes, I'll tell you, man, I can't with y'all people, man. I mean, I'm not really gonna do that because, one, I could afford anything I want, but two, yeah, I'm saying, but two, nah, that's not. This is just, like it used to be stigmatized going out begging, Now I get the whole, I get the whole right after a recent attack. You don't want to necessarily, like, you don't know what the pattern is yet. You don't know what the trend is. You don't know if it's today, tomorrow, and the next day. You don't know if it's a weekly for not. Like you as a human being have to know what the pattern is for these attacks, and then what have you, which is garbage, honestly. But you're supposed to be prepared to deal with these attacks. But again, when you look at the video, you understand that these people had very little chance because, the reality is that you're surrounded by these white folk, and I mean, I think a lot of white folk also did also take note that was it's just basically an act of terrorism and so on and so forth. Now, I wouldn't personally go out and beg, but you already get it. That's some BAN stuff. I'll just let y'all know. Obviously, if you want to try your luck, you can try your luck. Is BAN for bitch ass? Yeah, bitch asses. Yeah. Let me see if I could change the chat to all visible. Yeah, of course it's bitch ass stuff. Yeah. I always want to play that song, but there's a song from the somebody remixed the Boondocks where it's all bitch ass. Author just says, I moved to Houston to teach black African children. Currently, I'm doing it with the public school system, but that is not the end goal. I need more of you as us to partner with. Yeah, I mean, that's what it is. Like the reality is that, we could spit a good game, but, we don't. We don't act a good game. And the trouble is this too, that the school system is an expense. It's an expense. You don't get profit from children. You don't get profit. Like if you make a bridge across the expressway, you don't make profit. Oh yeah. So so Lero pointed out that Kofi pointed out that, on the top of each thing you can see BAN stands for bitch ass. Shut your mouth. I was only gonna say nice people. Oh, we could dig it, you know what I'm saying? But we're gonna go to ABA. If you see the ABAs are Moors and Meridians, even slaves. They anything but Africans. You understand? So it's kind of the Ascati right here. And we're gonna talk about money. Wait, hold on a second. That came out wrong. Well, see, I gotta go with the beat. Nah, I can't even go with the beat with the one. But it's money. All right. Money. All right, let's see. Well, but by the way, give me my 1K. All right, I'm gonna say that. All right. So I was inspired from this. This is my brother from another mother. Back on the days of Tumblr, this dude, son of midnight. Me and him following each other and bouncing off each other. But he's gonna quote some Carlos A. Cooks. He says, and I actually, the reason why this is unavailable because I blocked this guy or muted him or something like that. But Talbert. But anyway, it says that N-word stooges that they are using to perpetuate this cruel joke would sell their own mother into bondage for the sake of being able to move around as circus clowns in the circle of white society. That's Carlos A. Cooks, right? So you go to see what the quote is, and he's like, 10 black, mostly elderly. Let me turn on this beat a little bit. I can't tell if it's loud for y'all or just loud for me. You know, it could just be for me. Hold on a second. I think my television's my stereo's kind of high. I need to find my controller though. I can't even find my controller. I'll tell you, man, that's what happens when you live with a young person. They just kind of put things wherever they want. I think I found it though. Oh, actually it's low, so maybe the thing is loud. All right, anyway, so it's like 10 black, mostly elderly people are murdered, and Candace Owens, Larry Elders, Vernon Jones, and other members of the Black Buck Dancing Brigade are deflecting from the white supremacist savage who murdered them to black on black crime and the Waukesha Christmas parade. So, you know, money is, so this is a cool sister, Jess, she's cool, Haitian sister, Haitian Pan-Africanist. She goes, the Waukesha Christmas parade incident was a police chase. He did it deliberately because he knew he was going back to prison. Was it evil? Yes. Was it racially motivated terrorist attack? No. They will make false equivalencies to avoid holding themselves accountable. Basically, this black man was driving from the police, and then he drove into a group of white people, I guess. I think there might be white protesters. I don't know. Oh, maybe he did intentional homicide. Maybe he did kill these kids. These guys. But you know, it is what it is. You know, it is what it is. And you know, obviously, you could say whatever you want. Check this out. This is the. And I mean, obviously, she says that it was condemnable. Let's see. So somebody says, where are they saying this? And it's like on Twitter today. So this is May 15th. So this is like shortly after the Buffalo shooting. And Candace Owens, and again, this is about money, you know? Candace Owens says a black supremacist took a vehicle and plowed it into a group of white people at a Christmas parade in Waukesha. A white supremacist carved the name of one of those white parade victims onto a rifle and live streamed a mass shooting in a majority black neighborhood. As to say, oh, well, this white boy was just, you know, retaliating. And that's the thing though, like we were talking about that yesterday on Shoot the Breeze. Like, you know, say what you will, these white people understand retaliation. You know, say what you will, these white people understand retaliation. You know? And I mean, you might not, and not that this is an act of retaliation, but something's supposed to piss you off so much that maybe you do want to retaliate. Now, I wouldn't retaliate on a group of randos per se, or not even say that I wouldn't. Because you can't speak for how people are going to retaliate. People are supposed to retaliate. Like you can't speak for how others are going to retaliate. I think this was an ugly incident, what this white boy did. I don't really think it's directly connected. But also, I understand he's like an 18-year-old boy. You know? And you know, the system is okay with him. The system is okay with him. But anyway, media bias, 1121. Black man drives through Waukesha Christmas parade, kills 6, injures 62. Facebook post praised Hitler, supported BLM, and called for violence against whites. 5-4. White man in Buffalo supermarket shoots and kills 10, injures 3. Posted racist manifesto. Right? Want to talk about hate crimes and domestic terrorism? Don't stop with, and these are all black people, by the way. Don't stop with Buffalo, include Chicago. Since Friday, 5 killed, including teenagers, waiting for Sunday's numbers. Oh, by the way, the murderers didn't involve the white shooter. Do these murders count? So these are black people. Okay, these are black people. These are not white people. These are black people trying to get that white dollar. That's what they are. These are the Ascati. These are the people who are bought and paid for. Sometimes what we do is we put up a Candace Owens videos and we say, she's making some sense. She's doing she's doing all right. You know? She has some logic to her. And this is the same ideology. This is the same exact ideology of your Yvette Carnells and your Tariq Nasheeds. You know, there's this, we're going to talk about Du Bois later, but there's this section in and Du Bois's Souls of Black Folk. I never read the Bible. Y'all know that already, right? I never read Wazungu's Bible. Y'all know that already. But I was impressed with one of his passages that was like, it was talking about Atlanta, okay? I was so impressed with it. In fact, I used to, when I did my weekly study group, I used to have a passage of Du Bois talking about this mammonism thing, right? And it might be in my collected quotes and all that kind of stuff. I'll probably have to look into it. But he's describing what Atlanta was and what Atlanta shouldn't be. And he brings up this word called mammonism. And apparently it's a quote from, Wazungu's Bible, which is essentially that if, like, you can't serve two gods, they say, right? And I know you're like, what? Isn't that polytheism? Anyway, but you can't serve two gods. And the idea is that, there's the Christian God, if you will, or there's, or the whatever, right? And then there's mammon, right? And mammon is about the greed, about wanting money. You understand? And it's like you can't be righteous and be in pursuit solely of profit. See, because what Candace Owens, what they're doing right now is they're shitting on the lives of these people who were just shopping at a grocery store. I see the video and a lot of people just drop to the ground. Why do they drop to the ground? Why do they not run? One, it's like you can't really outrun a bullet. You really can't. Like, it don't matter how fast you run, you can't outrun a bullet. You could zigzag, you could do all that. But again, they're elderly people. It's very unlikely that they can move quick enough. The other thing is that you obviously don't process that somebody is shooting at you. If somebody comes in, if somebody breaks into a building, your assumption is, oh, they're trying to shoot some motherfucker who did them wrong. Okay? Your assumption is that they're trying to shoot some motherfucker that did them wrong. You're not really, because again, these are elderly people. They lived 80 something years. They've probably seen it before. They've probably seen, where's Julie? Where's Julie? I'm coming for Julie. You know what I'm saying? Somebody coming into the front door, I'm coming for Julie, or that sounds terrible because it's, domestic abuse, but I guess man versus women, I guess. Or even I can't do a woman's voice though, So let's say, where's Johnny? I know Johnny here, whatever, right? Point being, right? You get that maybe somebody's frustrated with somebody else, just get out of the way sometimes. If you can't take them, just get out of the way. That might be it. But it wasn't that. So I watched the video because I don't know, Lero was bigging it up for some reason. I don't personally get that, but I decided, let me look at this video. Maybe there was something maybe something that's not being told. But no, what happens is that this man is hunting black people. One of the black women is laying on the floor, and then this man stands over her, and she's laying on the floor pretending to be dead. Or pretending to, I'm not going to stop you. I'm not going to do nothing. I'm just laying here. Leave me alone. And you think, okay, he's just going to walk over her. Nope. Camera goes down, puts his gun to her head, not like so close, and shoots her dead. A deliberate slaughter of black people to the point where even there's a white boy laying on the floor because everybody's laying on the floor. Some people are hiding in things. Some people ran out, obviously. Some people lay on the floor. The white boy laying on the floor, and this white boy, the gunman, walks over to the white man, has his gun facing him, and the white man says, "No, please." No, not even no, please, just no. And the white boy says, "Oh, sorry," and walks away to go kill another black person. You understand what I'm telling you? And so this sort of a terror against black people, and for the Askari to come out and be like, well, I'm not going to make money if I just condemn this black person. I'm not going to make money if I do the right thing and say, no, if I just condemn this white terrorist. I'm not going to make money if I just condemn this white terrorist. What I'm going to do is I'm going to say, well, wasn't there a black person who did that? Wasn't there a black person who drove into a parade a year ago? Throwing out the lives of your people, and it touches me again.
I never read this Bible. I don't know what this Mammon. I think I saw the Mammon quote at one point, but it touches me and say, look, you can't be righteous. You can't be righteous and strictly for money. Because sometimes what is going to be profitable ain't right. What Candace and Larry and Vernon are doing is they're doing what's profitable. Okay? They're not doing what's right. And these are the same people who will complain about cancel culture, by the way. But they know if they just tell it like it is, they'll be canceled. Anyway, yeah, I know. We in church now, huh? I'm just about to. All right. So Real Black Gentleman says, just because a few leopards and lions may have a stripe on them, don't make them all tigers. Yeah. Lero says it's very shameful for them to do, and they gotta be dropped like the enemy. Disgusting. You already know. So let's see. So there's a little more of this. I don't see how y'all say this is LMB. I like it. It's like, layers on layers. Sonny, so the cooneries at an all-time high. So this is Brandon Tatum. He says, let's get this clear. The Buffalo shooter was wrong and a coward. I would have taken pleasure in being in that store with an AR to defend those innocent people. Part of his arguments have merit, but killing people over a personal philosophy is wrong. N-word, what? Nah, look, I'm not even gonna hold y'all. I actually don't even know why I put this here. But look, is this man FBA? Somebody check his paperwork. A lot of Joel off and Knox. These people are haters. But, the thing is, and of course he's like, oh no, this is, I was gonna say this guy. Now, actually what's interesting, and you're gonna see a lot of people are coming up to this reality, Shoot the Breeze yesterday, there was a video played by Afra Think Tank, okay, where he kind of breaks down that the FBA philosophy, right? The FBA philosophy is a parallel and a rehash of the Great Replacement theory. The same that got these people shooting up, got this white boy shooting up got this white terrorism, on the rise. You understand? So it's a really deep parallel, and actually, quite a few people on the TL are now kind of pointing it out as well. So I would advise y'all to go back, watch the Shoot the Breeze discussion around it, and then also, check out Afro Think Tank as well, or whatever. Just check out Afro Think Tank as well. But the point being that it is a reality that when these people are saying, hey, part of his argument may have some merit. Maybe like white people are feeling like they're getting replaced. And what is FBA always telling you? You understand? Hey, we gotta have our culture because y'all taking our culture. You understand? And remember, it just takes one person. It's like a lot of white people acknowledge Great Replacement theory is a thing. A lot of white people acknowledge that they are, slow, like the erosion of America as a white supermajority. Remember, America used to, for a long time, be 90% white. Okay, now it's pushing 50%. Okay, that's alarming to most people. Okay, a lot of white people are noticing this. But it just takes one white person to walk in to a grocery store and gun down somebody's grandmother over it. Okay? It takes one white person. And remember, if you guys were paying attention to this whole birth control stuff and this whole abortion stuff, a lot of it is related to this Great Replacement theory. Keeping the white people as a majority. The same with abortion on blacks. You understand? But it is what it is. Let's go. Good reminder. Oh yeah, this is another thing I want to show y'all. Good reminder. White supremacy is rooted in its economy, and that's backed by the gun. This is the school. Again, you could take foster kids. Now, yeah, you could take foster kids and just give them marksmanship. You probably get a penmanship class. Marksmanship class. This is Mr. Daramides' 5th and 6th physical education classes are working on their marksmanship with air rifles. All students passed their safety test and have been sharpening their skills. Hashtag number 307 Bobcats. And all the black folk are just complaining, why don't we have marksmanship? Why don't we have marksmanship? And I like this sister, so I ain't gonna say nothing. But the districts where our children attend schools not only won't allow firearm practice in the gym, they're now searching children in middle schools. You understand? But that's what it's supposed to be. See, if you want to, like, you gotta go back, study, like I said, ancient history is the best history. Study Rome. What did Rome do to Carthage? Disarm them. Okay? Rome did not disarm its own citizens. Okay? It disarmed the citizens of its enemies. Exactly. So Brown Sugar responds, exactly. For years we have gone along with what they said and agreed to it. Meanwhile, they have never stopped preparing their children. Preparing for what? As long as we need our precious to provide water, food, clothing, shelter, healthcare, security, sanitation, education, and utilities, then we will always be, by definition, a dependent of the oppressor. No amount of voting, marching, or complaining can change that. We must. Hold on, I think I saw this sister. We should be doing the same with our kids, so they aren't easy prey. Every predominant black American school should have the same class, but guess what? We ain't doing it. And see, again, I want y'all to remember, this is not profitable. Giving a bunch of kids marksman lessons or buying them all air rifles is not profitable. That's an expense. If you're gonna make your own charter school, you're gonna make your own private school, you're gonna make your own so on and so forth, it's an expense. I can tell y'all this. I got my son, I got me a punching bag, right? I think that thing cost me $300. $300 for one punch bag. You understand? That's the reality. I don't know how much an air rifle costs per se. I should, right? But let's say it's $150. You got I guess 4 kids, $600, right? Obviously they're gonna take turns. Then you're gonna have to replenish the stock. In fact, I see 5 targets, so we're gonna say 5 kids, $150 each, $750. And let's say that includes the ammunition, right? That has to be replenished all the time. Okay, that's already $1,000 out of your pocket. And of course, you want this education to be free. You want the education to be free. You get what you pay for. That's it. I think that was Frederick Douglass said, men may not always get what they pay for, but they most certainly pay for what they get. Men may not always get what they pay for, but they will most certainly pay for what you get. Whatever you got, you're gonna pay for. That's it. You ain't getting nothing for free. This is why people say, you know what? We're gonna drop 1,000 on this, and it might be their tax dollars. But it really comes back to, what are you willing to do? There's a school system. I'll tell y'all the truth. I essentially something I did this math study, like math teaching, because these people invited me to do so, and they wanted their kids to pass the SAT. So I taught them an SAT class on math, right? A couple of times. And what happened was, in that school, the teachers who worked there didn't really get paid that much. But what they got in exchange for working there was their kids had to pay less. Like if you had more than one kid in the school, then the kids paid less. Or something like that. You understand? It's like you have to compromise. Or you have to compromise. Now, I don't think that's ideal per se, but I'm just telling you that there's a reality that if the money is tight, you're going to have to make compromises until it is good. But the trouble with schools, again, the problem with schools is that they're just expenses. They're just expenses. Me getting this punching bag is just an expense. Me telling my kid, hey, here's a martial arts class, here's the martial arts instructor. You know, I gotta pay the martial arts instructor. You understand? And unless he becomes a professional fighter, which I don't intend for him to be, it's never gonna make no money, him knowing how to beat a motherfucker's ass. Him knowing how to shoot a drone from the sky. I mean, it might come in handy, but it ain't no money maker. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, and I say, never mind, they generally goofy. I don't know what that means. Let me see what that is. But let me first check the comments, see how y'all enjoying it. This thing is saying I don't have, like, it's I gotta approve these things. I don't know if I should approve the N-word what though, but but I think it was I think he's talking about the thing on the thing. But it goes, Real Black Gentleman says, Black whataboutism. Author George says, to hell with all these worthless people. We need to get a think tank of Black African educators together so that we can develop strategies and decide on what our next project is to be. Come on, Bit of Medicine. Author George is like, look, Bit of Medicine, come through. I don't know why Russian Concussion's back, if that's the same person from before. Real Black Gentleman says, N-word what? Real Black Gentleman says, the United States is the white nation. Let's keep it a buck. Let's keep it a buck. I don't know who Russian Concussion is, but again, Russian Concussion, if you're that Russian troll, you know, good luck in Ukraine. You're doing a good job. Anyway, Real Black Gentleman says, BBB, your screen key chat cutting some of my chat. Yeah. I think because you had the N-word there. And then Kofi says, yeah, it's the white guy again, but he changed the profile pic, LOL. Yeah, I mean, you know, obviously, as long as he ain't typing, Russia, just do a good job in Ukraine. That's it. All right. We ain't gonna have you dominating the conversation. Anyway, let's see what this is going on. Yeah. So anyway, let's go on. So I said, never mind, they're goofy in general. I don't know what that means. Oh yeah. This it? Oh yeah. Wait, did I already show this out last week? I didn't show y'all this last week. All right. Hold on a second. So.
What message do you have?
All right, hold on a second. Let me turn on the music for a second. This is some old coonery. I'm actually a little bit embarrassed. We got, yeah.
What message do you have for the loved ones of the victims tonight?
That we are here for them. We are here for them, and we love them, and we'll let them know if it takes of being here all night, we will be. We are here for each and every one of them to show that we care for them and they are somebody, and we want to make sure that they are remembered in whichever way they would like to see their loved one remembered. But we want to let them families know, we want to wrap our arms around each and every individual and let them know we are here for them and whatever we can do. You know, as a Buffalo Peacemaker, Buffalo Fathers, grassroots organizations that have been here, you know, since earlier today, just hugging people, loving on people, and letting them know that whatever they need, we are here for them.
Lenny, thank you so much, and I am so sorry for your loss. I can't even begin to imagine.
Can I hug you?
Course,
I mean, I wanted to hug you. I just want to hug you. I just want to hug you because that's what we need.
Yes.
We just need hugs.
We need hugs. Yes, we do. We need to come together right now more than anything.
And you know what I mean? It's from all over the city, we need to come together and hug one another.
Yes.
And I can see us out here for the next 2 or 3 days, just being out here praying for one another, hugging one another, showing love and support, and finding out whatever resources that we have and that they need. We want to make sure that we get it to them.
And see, I'm telling you, man, there's no question. You understand? There's no question. I actually, let me get the amp up music. Amp up. All right, let me get the amp up music. Anyway, but like, there's no question. Why? Like this like they goofy. You know, so it says we need to come together and hug one another. Larry Lane, a member of the several community organizations in Buffalo, a member of several community organizations. If you like, I can't. That's the trouble though. I tell y'all could be a part of online organizations. That's fine. You got to be a part of community organizations because the reality is this. Larry Lane is not just a member of a community organization. He's a member of several community organizations. He's not just a member of a community organization and the news says, let me put him on the television. He's a member of several community organizations. The news is like, hey, Larry Lane, what's going on? So Lenny Lane says, Lenny Lane says, hug the reporter mid-interview and expressed his desire for the city to come together after 10 people were killed at a supermarket. And so watch the killer say in court he just needs more hugs. The killer gonna say he needs more hugs, growing up, and the black jurors push for his acquittal. But y'all fight white supremacy. Tell that to the community organizer. Tell that to the community. Cause you gotta understand what a community organizer is too. An organizer is an institution, or is an individual in an institution that's affecting the behavior of its larger demographic. Okay? Let's say that. It's affecting the behavior of a larger demographic. So Lenny Lane is letting his community turn into, let's just hug these white people. They'll probably stop killing us if they hug them. Now, if y'all saw go back and check out Bit of Medicine from yesterday, Shoot the Breeze. He shows this video. In fact, I put it on my Discord. If you guys and no white boy, don't go on my Discord. But anyway, what I'm gonna tell y'all is this. On the Discord, this video that's going on in Ukraine about the Ukrainians preparing these neo-Nazis with this Azov battalion and how they go through a deep training of weapons training, of military practice and getting their ideology and being violent with one another and trying to express this violence onto other groups of people. Okay? Where people with who are wanted for hate crimes congregate and train. Right? That's what they're doing. And while they're doing that, you got black folk, not just in America, but in America. Black folk in America saying, let's train to hug each other better. Let's train to forgive. And we're going to show that later. You have to understand that what's going on is that you're in trouble. You're in deep trouble. If you're not a part of an organization, you're not a part of a community organization. Okay? If you're not a part of an organization, you are not helping your people. I think that was Kwame Ture said that. Something along those lines. He said if you're not a part of a organization. No, I think in fact I think it was no. In fact, I was in Altimatis' group. Altimatis said if you're not a part of a black financed and black led organization, you are part of the problem. You're not a part of the solution. Okay? Say it ain't so. Real Black Gentleman says, hold Nazis out here. Yeah. Ukraine's far-right children's camp, I Want to Bring Up a Warrior, is another one to watch from 2017. Ukraine's far-right children's camp. Children's camp. They don't even got to adopt the kids. They don't even got to foster the kids. All they got to do is say, here is a summer camp. And see, one thing I liked about the UAM back when I was in it is that they did have a summer camp program. But they kept saying, hey, we need more donations, we need more funding, we need more so on and so forth. And so before, I think it was called the Freedom Retreat, you can look it up. And what they would do is they would have a retreat and they would teach African history with, different African historians, and they teach all that kind of stuff and white water rafting and all that kind of stuff, right? But was it the far right? Was it the equivalent of the far right camp? No, it wasn't. And I mean, you might say, hey, maybe I don't want an equivalent of the far right camp. Maybe America won't allow that, but Ukraine will. And this is why we got, people like Russia, Concussion or whoever, fighting the good fight against them. Either way, fighting against them. Either way, what we have to do is what we have to notice. And by the way, I didn't invite this dude, just so y'all know. I'm just, I just, you get what I'm saying. But anyway, but what I want y'all to know is that that's what we, you have to understand what your enemy is doing in order to know why your enemy is winning. Malcolm X once said, in fact, Malcolm X says, if somebody's more successful than you, it's because they're doing something that you're not doing. Okay? If somebody is more successful than you, it's because they're doing something that you're not doing. And see, I know this. See, when you guys look at my podcast and you say, man, he's only got 999 subscribers, and he's been doing a weekly podcast for 4 years. That sucks. It's garbage. But that's because I'm not going to do what the sellouts are doing. You understand? I'm not going to do what the sellouts are doing. I could easily, hey man, look at this twerk video. You know what I'm saying? I could easily do that. And it's like you don't even have to do like real talk. Some of the channels that I follow, in fact, are like guys, like people doing like programming, doing like video game programming, or even playing video games. I could do that. I'm an intelligent guy. I could entertain. And tell y'all about how this character goes inside of this video game. I could do that. And then that's not even selling out. That's just doing something different. But I don't. Okay? But at the same time, you have to understand that there's a time and place where you got to say, well, what is my enemy doing that makes him more successful in this arena? When it comes to podcasts, it's like, okay, who cares? When it comes to life or death, you have to say to yourself, how can you be more successful? You understand? How can you be more successful in the realm of life and death? Because if you hugging these people and they shooting these people, 9 times out of 10 they're gonna win. Shit, I should say 10 out of 10. Let's see what this next one is, though. Oh, yeah. So this is Kalanji. He's going to tell you the truth. Look at this. So Kalanji's going to say, hey, you know what? Family member of the Buffalo shooting victim told CNN they wanted me to join them during an interview. Producer calls back and says they didn't realize I was so militant. This dude shot 13 people, but I'm the threat? Hey, Brooke Baldwin, it's a white girl, I guess. Could you let your ex-crew know I'm no cannibal? Shaking my head, right? So, everybody's going to tell him, hey, Brooke's no longer there. But this is the thing, though. White people are not going to... I think I made a comment on it, so let me see if I can find it. It's so stupid that they don't make your comment show up first. Like, why the fuck would I want to see other people's comments when I have the best one? But no, I'm just messing. Damn, there's like a lot of... But yeah. Oh, look at this. CNN is so wrong on so many... No, this guy is pretty famous, I think. For denying Kalanji's appearance. Apparently fighting for racial injustice is too militant, but fighting for white supremacy gets you a cozy interview. Yeah. So I was somewhere. But basically, I think a long story short is that I told y'all, don't say the. Say their. Do not say the media. Say their media. And their media is not supposed to boost you. You could even say the, well, I do the parentheses IR, and IR can mean they, like interracial media news or intraracial news, whatever you want to say. But white folks gotta control their news. It's not the news, it's their news. They don't need to put up some militant. They don't need to put up no black person that don't fit along with Lenny. They put up Lenny. Why? Because Lenny is an easy one. Now, I'm going to tell y'all the truth, though. I don't know. But I think white folk were a little bit... Like, this attack was a little bit on the extreme side. For even, like, a lot of white folk. But, of course, that don't mean that they want you to go on the news and tell your people to retaliate. They obviously don't want to do that. But a lot of black... Like, you're going to see later on. I think this is it. Right here. Man, let's just go into this one. No, let's do that later. But, yeah. No, let's just do it. Even Whitey is like, girl. So we're going to jump into the I'm a Christian one. Where even this white boy is like, girl. You know? Like, you know, look at this right here. Oh, let me turn on the volume. Even this white boy is like, girl.
To the back of a vehicle helping somebody else.
Another friend says the community is angry, but can you forgive this gunman?
I have to.
Wait, can y'all hear this?
Some people would argue you don't have to.
Yeah, bro.
No, but y'all check that out though. This white boy is like, wait a second. So he's like, can you forgive this? Because he's like, come on, y'all got a limit. Black folk got a limit. You have to have a limit. He's like, can you forgive this person? Right? Just like as a joke. Like, come on, tell us you can't. And she's like, I have to. And then he's like, you know you don't got to, right? Like, I'm a white man. I am the quote unquote, like, I'm the embodiment of this Jesus that you worship. And y'all see I got Tariq and them blocked on the side. But anyway, but you see how people kind of bring attention to Tariq and all them, right? But she goes, and this white boy's like, look, you don't have to. Like, I'm telling you, as the person that you worship every fucking day, right? You don't got to do that. And she's like, nope, I gotta. ABAs, man.
Let me show you.
To the back of a vehicle helping somebody else.
Another friend says the community is angry, but can you forgive this gunman?
I have to.
Some people would argue you don't have to.
Yeah, bro.
Let me show you this. Her name. No, use a coon, Miss Smith Johnson.
I have to.
Some people would argue you don't have to.
Yeah, bro. I'm a Christian. You have to. It's mandatory for us.
The Buffalo.
Who coon ass mama is this? Whose coon ass mama is this? The butter biscuit. First of all, the wig, y'all. The motherfucking wig. You sitting here on TV.
I'm a Christian. You have to.
Saying this foolishness, looking like a mule with a wig on. And you gonna sit up here and say we got to forgive a monster. Somebody tell me, whose mama is this? Get your mama.
Yeah, so I mean, me personally, I wouldn't make fun of the lady's appearance, but yeah, like this is the reality.
I kind of knew this shit
of the situation that we're dealing with. Anyway, we're gonna jump forward. Not me recognizing ADOS. Am I gonna recognize some ADOS? Check this out. I want y'all to see this. This is interesting on a different level. Look at this. People constantly ask if my mother was my nanny. This is the guy. This is what he looks like. Okay? People constantly ask me if my mother was my nanny. So the thing that sparked this was this post. Essentially, he's like, oh, holy shit, imagine walking up to your note on your front door. I would be furious. I don't understand genetics or adoption, so I'm going to harass your family. So it says, hello, neighbor. Couldn't help but notice that your son doesn't look like you. Interesting. Don't think it's impossible for you to birth a white baby. Please send documentation that he is yours to my number below or police will be called. Thanks. Right? Now, of course, people are saying, why'd you cross out their thing? But it's like, yeah. I mean, again, this is like the part of the adoption thing. And the reality is that you can adopt white kids if you wanted to. So this is the other one. This is another white girl. She's like you could tell that she's not a drop of. And she goes, fellow, is that your club member here? No, is that your club member here? These are my grandparents. Both my mother and I were always asked how long Grammy worked for us. Sigh. Genetics is a very unique thing. Unfortunately, ignorance still is not. Your parents are beautiful, whatever. And so, this is just a friendly reminder of, like, this is the quote-unquote ADOS. Is this full of frap? Yeah, okay, good. So this is the ADOS that you have to Like that's realistically who you're dealing with. That these are the people who you're fighting reparations for. And these are the people who are probably going to get it if it comes. And so then you got Karen Hunter, who we're actually going to talk about later. Who essentially this white boy is going to he's the Orange County shooter who killed one or several others this weekend, citing hatred of ethnic Taiwanese people. And his rationale is as roommate with SoCal white supremacists, a well-known associate. His rationale is roommates with SoCal white supremacist Jordan Davis, a well-known associate of the neo-Nazi above, whatever, right? Anyway, this guy. So this is a white boy, right? But people like Karen and other people are like, who's going to tell him? You understand? They're like, who's going to tell him? And it's just like the running joke among black people where it's like, we'll take one drop. You understand? We'll take one drop. I mean, even if it is even remotely a drop, honestly, we'll take one drop. And that's really like what it comes to. So he could be here. He could be here. He could be here. He could be here. And notwithstanding that he's all these places, black folk are trying to claim him. And I mean, ironically, the next post is from Karen too, where I say we got a Karen. And actually, I kind of like this post, low key. But it's like my question to Karen is, if you gotta ask, are you really like, are you serious? You know? So she says, I asked a simple question and have yet to get a response. Shaking my head. The house is on fire. Do we leave or do we help to put the fire out? And so, if you have to ask whether you help to put the fire out, you understand? A, B, A. But we're going to move forward. We're going to see what the chat's like, and we're just going to move forward. Real Black Gentleman says, let's talk about the neo-fascists and the corporate rule, too. Nazis are sponsored by big business. Of course. Of course. They don't get that hardware from, just surfing on Twitter. Kofi says, don't know what's wrong with them. From you diss the family, you gone. Yeah. If you disrespecting the family, you gone. But that's it. That's for the ABAs. Let's see if the Manginas are here. Oh yeah. So usually I don't show Tariq Nasheed, but I'm gonna say y'all sick for this. Y'all sick for trying to blame black women on this Buffalo shooting. So again, like, I wouldn't politicize this Buffalo shooting, honestly. They're trying to blame black women. So basically, and this is not, as Kofi would tell you, this is not a black woman. All right. But here's the thing. It says terrorist Peyton Gurdon had only two close friends. And basically, realistically speaking, he had this friend. This was his friend. White Hispanic man. And then this was this guy's girlfriend. Right. And he goes, if you read parts of the Killer's Manifesto where he talks about black men, it sounds just like these divestors here on Twitter. By the way, most of his victims were black women, right? Now, if you read the article, what happens is this, that she does not really, like, neither of them know about this guy's ideology. So realistically speaking, she's, like, it's not evident that she's, well, first off, like they say, it's possible she's not even a black woman, right? Or doesn't even identify as a black woman, right? But she's essentially not giving this guy any sort of racist ideologies. If you read the article, she's kind of like, what the fuck? I'm sick to my stomach. How did I even know this guy, right? But Tariq Nasheed is up there telling you, just lying on black women in general and saying that this woman radicalized this man, against all evidence. But here's the meanwhile. And actually, we're gonna post up. So if y'all don't know Javier Bullets, he has this. He has a podcast too, so you guys check it out.
Peace. My name is Haven Bernadez, and today I got to do this video. First and foremost, I would like to say rest in peace to all the victims of the Buffalo supermarket shooting and a speedy recovery to those who survived. And I have just heard about another shooting in New York at a church. One person has died, 5 people were wounded. Thank God it wasn't as bad as the other shooting, but I digress. I just wanted to touch on this real quick. Look at Tariq. Look at this goofball. This is one of the things that the dude had written on his gun was buck status broken. I'm going to show you right here. You see it. Buck status broken. Why is that significant? Why is that significant? Because like Tariq said, it's a reference to his movie, Buck Breaking. A movie that when it came out, when he first announced it, I said, not only is this softcore gay porn, but this is literally the most anti-black thing I've ever seen. And most white empowering thing I have ever seen and ever heard of. Buck Breaking. A DVD about how the white man has been raping the black man up the ass for over 400 years. I mean, all throughout slavery, and is still doing it today.
Yeah, so what I'm going to do is I'm gonna tell y'all to go watch this video, but basically, if you skip forward, basically he's going to show how, all right, I'll just show y'all this. He searches, like basically the point is that Tariq Nasheed,
just right off.
Yeah, so basically it's a bunch of, like, white boys make a bunch of kind of gay porn references to Tariq Nasheed's DVD. So like white people are like they memed it. They made it into like, oh yeah, these N-words are so stupid. And Tariq Nasheed put it out as an empowering video for black folk. Like basically, long story short, he's blaming black women for the radicalization of, or the parallel of this gunman, right? But the reality is that it's him who contributed to the radicalization and the empowerment of this gunman. It's sick. And I mean, I'm telling y'all that, first off, there was a sister on Twitter. She was like, some of y'all, she said after the Kevin Samuels death, she realized a lot of people are gender first before they're race first. And that's a problem. This right here is another example of being gender first instead of race first. And the thing is that it's a gender lie. It's a gender lie. Because it's Tariq. Like the white boy in question, or the black woman, or not the black woman, but the woman in question likely did not radicalize this dude. But you see evidence, and Tariq Nasheed claims evidence, where the guy writes "bug status broken" on his gun. Where the memes are circulating on the channels that this white boy is on. On the white supremacy networks, they are putting up, oh yeah, we dominate these black men. We break these bucks. It's disgusting and it's disturbing. And I'm telling y'all, I don't know how y'all let this man get along with it. Or go, y'all don't know how y'all do it. But it is what it is. Let's keep going. So the past me's weren't that active this week. It looks like, let's see what the Alphabet Squad was up to. Alphabet Squad. So what is Alphabet Squad? That's the LGBTLMNOP, right? Activists who said it wasn't a slippery slope. All right. So let's see. Y'all basically white people at this point. Oh yeah. So this is just, it's not that important, but I want to say this. It's really interesting. So people are coming after LeBron James. Now I personally don't like interracial relationships myself. Okay. I don't like it, but I'm starting to realize that we have to do a lot better on this cultural assault that we have, or on this cultural litmus test we have. So I said, look, it just dawned on me that this teen, now we're talking about LeBron James, he's a teenager, goes to a white school, speaks a white language, plays a white sport, studies a white history, dresses in a white's outfit, follows a white tradition, but dating a white woman is where we see a red flag. What is this consciousness thing? And I agree, dating a white woman is, and apparently he wasn't even dating her. Apparently he just went to the prom with this lady. But or this whatever, right? Apparently, he just went to the prom. But and of course, I think the logistics, of it is, he's trying to make it into the NBA. You can't be no bigot. You can't reject the rich girls, the rich girl's son. I mean, the rich man's daughter, for just a prom that you're not even gonna do nothing at, or whatever. But again, the bigger issue is how deeply colonized we are. And then all we kind of say is, well, at least I'm dating a black woman. Like, sure. But, and I mean, that's a good thing. It's a great thing. Date your black women, obviously. But, we do have to also change these other things. But the reason why this came out, it says, I don't care who he's with, but taste is looking a little hereditary. And so what happens is that LeBron's son also went out with a white woman, or went to the prom with a white woman. So that's pretty much the end of that. Of course, LeBron James eventually marries a black woman. And, it is, but like, it becomes a question of like, like, again, like teenagers are in this predicament where, as Faithful is, or Arthur is imploring us, we have to change their circumstances much more deeply than trying to tell them, oh, well, don't, you could do everything white people do, just don't date one, Like, it should not just be that you're doing everything white people are doing. It should be that you have your own program for your own people. The last one, I think I was going to sing a song, but I didn't write out the lyrics, but it's going to be genocide, something like that. Let's see what it is. Let's see what this genocide thing's about. Oh yeah, call the effing authorities. So it's like, yeah, you're going to go for your own genocide. By the way, this lady's actually a pretty lady too. But he goes, how is your baby trans at 4? You making the decisions for them. And he goes, if you don't understand what it's to be trans or feel like you're in the wrong body, just say that. What's so hard about affirming your kid's gender identity? You know you were straight or gay at your young age. What's the difference? I'll tell y'all this right now. This boy right now, I got, he's an intelligent kid. He's intelligent. Like you could block the Wi-Fi. You could put it behind a password and he could like unlock it. You know what I mean? Like I don't know how. All right, maybe not the password because it's pretty hard. But like, you go to settings and you turn off the Wi-Fi, you turn off the internet, and he will go to settings like without even seeing you do it and turn back on the internet. Smart kid, right? This dude does not know a damn about sexuality. And he older than 4. These people are willingly genociding their own people. Willingly killing their own people. Willingly. Because see, if you are twisted at 4 years old, there's no recovery. There's no recovery. See, if you get twisted at 18, you can get twisted back at 21. Okay? You get twisted at 25, you can be twisted back at 26. If I say tomorrow, I'm a beach guy, right? Fast forward, I'm not a beach guy anymore. You know what I mean? Like it could be another week, and I'm like, yeah, the beach is kind of too expensive. But you're at 4 years old, a boy, right? You're 4 years old, you're a boy, and then suddenly, from 4 to 18, you're a girl. Well, at 19, you're a girl. At 20, you're a girl. 25, you're a girl. 35, you're a girl. 40, you're a girl. 80, you're a girl. You understand? It's genocide. And you're doing it to yourself. No white boy coming into your house and telling you, hey, man, you got to go raise your daughter. You got to go raise your son as daughter. No white boy doing that. And you're going to spend, now again, like I said, from 4 to 18, you're going to spend 14 years confusing a kid. This sister was actually telling me that her sister gave her her daughter, right? So that now her niece is her daughter. And she's like, and I'm like, wait, so did you tell your niece that like, did you tell your niece that she's your niece? And she's like, I mean, sometimes when we go to the hospital, they bring it up, you know? They're like, who's the other lady? And it's like, oh yeah, you know? But the reality is that the kid, as far as their processing, is going to say, hey, this is my mother and this is my aunt. I'm telling you already, man. The alphabets. But all right, let's jump into the next one. How y'all doing, though? How y'all doing? Let me know. I know it's always a interesting stream. Let's see. Which is why he calls her black. Yeah, Tariq is dating a biracial woman and calls her black. There you go. Which is why he calls her black. Author says, that's why I mute Tariq on Twitter. Sorry to all the same people named Tariq. Dang, you named everybody on Tariq. Yeah. Kofi says, strange world. Yeah. Somebody linked it up in the Discord, and so I was like, let me check this out. I kind of blocked him so that I could see what he's doing when he's doing something, if somebody links it. But, usually it's some foul stuff. We're going to go to Du Bois and the Buffalo Soldat. Soldat. But anyway, neo-Nazi. So we're going to jump in. Why in the world are we talking about Du Bois in 2022, right? So somebody just randomly comes on. He says, as a scholar of Du Bois, I should go on the record saying he was not a Nazi sympathizer, and that marking the historical and material conditions that dominate its rise is not akin to an endorsement. All right, so let's see rating. May 1933, it seems impossible in the middle of the 20th century a country like Germany could turn to race hate as a political expedient. Surely the experience of America is enough to warn the world. December 1936, Nazism surpasses in vindictive cruelty and public insult anything I've ever seen, and I've seen much. That's how there has been no tragedy in modern times equal in its awful effects to the fight of the Jew in Germany. So basically he's saying that the Jews suffered more than everybody else, right? Or at least at that time, I hope. I don't know. 1944, the super tragedy of this war is the treatment of the Jews in Germany. There is nothing comparable to this in modern history. Yet its technique and its reasoning has been based upon a race philosophy similar to that which has dominated both Great Britain and the U.S. In 1947, there were no Nazi atrocities, concentration camps, wholesale maiming and murder, defilement of women, or ghastly blasphemy of childhood, which the Christian civilization of Europe has not long been practicing against colored folk in the name of a superior race born to rule. So everybody's kind of confused. Now, this is the thing I don't like about a lot of Twitter threads is that it's like, who? What are you guys even talking about? Why did you bring this up? Right? So somebody does make I think this is it. So I want the link to the original, but here's a helpful thread of receipts. So the original was woefully wrong. Let me see. I think this is probably not it. Maybe this is the original. I hesitate to get involved because I'm trying to be better about what and who I give my energy towards. But as someone who studies Du Bois and has published the Du Bois, is writing a book. There's actually a lot of people studying Du Bois apparently. And this might be the original thread though. So it says 1, this thread will be about Du Bois, National Socialism, and Hitler. So he says 2. And then by the way, this is a white boy. So it's just these black folk getting in the tiff about this white boy, which is interesting. But and a white boy with a small account, no less. But anyway, in July 1941, W. Du Bois published a 6-page article in the Journal of Negro Education presenting his views of the European War. I'll provide background and summarize, read closely, and comment on this article. To download, you click here. It's a JSTOR article. So he says, background. The Joan published an annual yearbook where leading writers were invited to comment on issues of the day. Chas H. Thompson asked people to reflect on the European War, especially as it relates to repressed people. Du Bois' contribution appears in part 2 of the yearbook, which is about immediate and long-term prospects in the crisis of war. Thompson asks what effect the war will have on the Western Hemisphere. Du Bois' essay is called New Europa, Hitler's New World Order. In summary, the essay considers what would happen if a German, Soviet, Imperial Japan order emerged out of the conflict. Du Bois has a favorable view of this outcome. Du Bois starts by saying that some people think that Hitler's political order would be characterized by war, oppression, and race hate. I do not believe this. Du Bois reviews how World War I wiped out the old order, the chaos of the Weimar Republic, and how the National Socialists gained power through a bizarre and violent coalition that Hitler's single-aimed will forged into one of the greatest of political parties, right? So again, he's praising the political party, right? Then Du Bois seemingly makes a full-blown endorsement of the Nazi propaganda machine. They seized and monopolized a long-neglected weapon of democracy. They began a course of adult education, helped enormously by recent inventions, the radio, the loudspeaker, and airplane. So again, what Du Bois is doing, you got to pay attention. Du Bois is going to let you know what the Nazis did right. Okay? He's going to let you know what they did right. Now, we're talking about the comrades. The comrades are trying to say, they're trying to be against everything and, blah, blah, blah. But Du Bois is kind of spitting game to you. How do you make democracy, in a sense, really function? Is you engage in adult education. Okay? And that could be helped by the radio, the loudspeaker, the airplane. Of course, today you could say the internet, the television, you don't say television anymore, but you guys get what I'm saying, right? Du Bois sees this as a positive evolution of Soviet policy. Russia started mass education by propaganda and Mussolini followed. Hitler took up this technique with a much more intelligent population. Okay? So now you have mass propaganda with an intelligent population. Du Bois also seems to like that Hitler has copied Lenin's dictatorship of one party model. Again, not the America has two parties. I think Nkrumah says America really has one party. But like a typical American extravagance, it has two of them, something stupid like that. But anyway, Du Bois also seems to like that Hitler copied Lenin's dictatorship of one party model and the education of children for membership in this one authoritarian party. Okay, he's telling you how a nation can catch up. This brother recently told me, he said, "Did you forget that Africa is 20 years behind?" And it's like, the reality is this: I don't think Africa's 20 years behind, but Africa is in dire need of good political leadership. Whether that's a political party, but good political leadership. Because what happens is this: Russia was quote unquote behind by 200 years, and it beat America into space. Germany was behind by 200 years, if you will, and it beat England and France, and it could have beaten England, France, and America. Okay? The difference was Russia. You understand? That's the difference. And you have to understand that what Du Bois is going to outline then is how in the world did this the Prussian Empire, the fractured Prussian people, how did they become the world superpower overnight? You understand? How did they end up fighting the two other superpowers and nearly winning? How that happened? And what it would take for African people. So even as much as I don't like Du Bois, I want y'all to peep game, okay? So Du Bois goes on to argue that the success, in his view, of Nazi politics and economic planning is not merely people following racist propaganda. It's based on a revolution so profound and a doctrine so fundamental that it cannot entirely fail. What is the doctrine? Rationalization, full mobilization of all scientific information, and the utilizing of all possible means for one end. In other words, Du Bois was a central planner and was magnetically drawn to any authoritarian who promised a battle against market organized production. So again, there's central planning, right? And we're going to see that in this example coming up. So he says that the US and UK will never expect to rival Germany in production unless they follow in her footsteps and create a command economy. So command economy is the watchword to look into, right? 16, he thinks social scientists have underestimated the benefits of dictatorship. Social scientists have been remiss in not pointing out a certain realm of dictatorship to which all governments must bow. He does seem to backtrack a little when he says some democratic open argument is okay, but then really doubles down on dictatorship. If today the only path for economic efficiency is through dictatorship, the attempt to stop this development simply by fighting dictatorship is futile. He then tears into Western capitalist democracies for having a facade of freedom and indulging in rugged individualism. He thinks the America's economic anarchy has led to a Great Depression-era suicide. As long as Hitler stays the course on the command economy, Germany will be okay. Such anarchical disorganizations has no power, which organized Nazism needs fear. And again, so essentially, if you really pay attention, he's saying, look, realistically speaking, Germany has the better nation. And I tell you, I was watching Star Trek, and they were bigging up the Nazi economy. They were like, "Hey, it was probably the best form of government that the Americans, that the world ever experienced," according to these white boys, these white Americans who wrote the script. Okay, as long as so on and so forth, this organization which organized blah blah. 21. What is America's place in a new world defined by Nazi Germany and Soviet Russia? Profit making must be made absolutely subordinate to the general will. Then she can join the new order. Right? But of course, the irony is that America wins out over Germany and Soviet Russia. That's the irony, right? But anyway, I should also note that throughout the essay, Du Bois downplays Nazi race theory as not essential or something that needs to be dropped or people will revolt. Now again, naive, right? First comment, Du Bois admires Germany because it has adopted in some form a command economy, and that's great in his eyes. He seems very comfortable with the institution of authoritarian states such as propaganda, dictatorship, and one-party state. 24. I think that this shows how intellectuals can go down the road to authoritarianism. For Du Bois at the time, nothing was as important as fighting capitalism and instituting a command economy. Second, he seems very invested in downplaying the racist and anti-Semitic ideology of the Nationalist Socialist state. He thinks race theory is not needed and was just a tool to get elected. He united people divided by class with the theory of Germanism. Now again, this is not the case. You have to have this race theory, but we're going to keep going. And that's why you wouldn't really big up these people. You would just peep game. 26. Pre-World War II, Du Bois often downplayed or minimized anti-Semitism. Historian Harold Beckman chronicles this early history in this article in American Jewish History. He discusses his genteel anti-Semitism and Du Bois' change of mind during the Holocaust. Third, how does this affect how we think about Du Bois and teach his work? In terms of teaching, this would not affect how we read Souls of Black Folk from 1903 or The Philadelphia Negro, as those books appear before his adoption of Marxism later in life, but it does provide important context for Black Reconstruction, 1935. Fourth, this helps us understand Du Bois' biography better. The guy who wrote Souls is simply not the pro-authoritarian guy we get later. Later, Du Bois is similar to Noam Chomsky, a brilliant person who lets an enemy of my enemy logic draw him to some very dark places. 30, what have I learned from all this? As great as, actually, I don't know if this is a white boy. I think it is, though. As great as someone is, they can be profoundly wrong on some important issues. At the very least, Du Bois lack consistency. Why the racism of the Nazis and Soviets is easily dismissed, but Western racism is not, is true and deep error. Also, Du Bois simply does not understand the ability of Western democracies to defend or to reform, a mistake many still make today. So I think that was it. But bottom line, at a time where intellectuals needed to buckle down on Western liberalism, Du Bois chose another path. We should learn from that mistake. So this could be a white boy or it could be a black boy. I don't know. Oh no, it's a white boy, right? Yeah, it's a white boy. But that's the thing, you know. I want you to also pick up that these white people do sometimes admire some black people. So this is somebody who respects Du Bois. Oh, I guess he wouldn't call Du Bois black, but this is a person who respects Du Bois or what have you. But again, you know, it is what it is. But of course, all the black folk coming out for this thing. Now, Keter in the Discord, he pointed out this, so I want y'all to see this. He says, look, Du Bois might not have been wrong on this one. Apart from the so-called West, all other developed nations in Asia or Arab world weren't and aren't democracies and didn't need it to develop. Take a look at Japan, South Korea, Malaysia, and Singapore. All are authoritarian. And I mean, Keter kind of expanded some more on the Discord. So make sure y'all join the Discord. Y'all see the link coming through. But let's see what this. I say I ain't read the following, but you can. So I think I put up another link. I don't think I read it, I guess. But I'm going to tell y'all to go read it. Let's see what this is. It's something along the lines of W.B. Du Bois' 1949 speech to the U.S. Congress declaring his opposition to the creation and funding of NATO. He says, opposition to the creation of NATO to wage war with Russia. You know, just to give you context as to why Russia is beefing. This is Du Bois in 1949 telling you, hey, this is just created to fight Russia. And let's see, this is my least favorite part of Africa. Oh yeah, so my least favorite part of Africa was this bridge, but I want y'all to get this in full context. We were talking about what is economical in the development of infrastructure. Let me look at the comments though. How you black and saying that Jews suffer more than you? Shaking my head. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. The thing is, it's Du Bois. So, Du Bois is, he's a mulatto. So what are you going to do? Right? Real Black Gentleman says, adult education is just Kemet's 40-year schooling. Always keep learning. Exactly. Wait, Western democracies forming themselves where and when? Yeah, I mean, yeah, you get one. This is a white boy. So, white boy's going to believe in white boy. Let's see. So this is real life for tons of people. Infrastructure needs a rehaul for a lot of places around the world. So basically, this is an expressway in wherever. I don't know where they are. But this is something I saw when I was in Ghana, where I had to get to the pharmacy. And in order to get to the pharmacy, I had to cross an expressway. Okay? This actually has more to do with city planning. And, part of me looking at this right now, I'm saying to myself, a simple overland bridge. You don't even have to add a stoplight. A simple overland bridge could help these kids cross the street. Okay? Fortunately, no kid gets hit, but, on the video. But clearly, so on and so forth. So now the only thing with the overland bridge is that you're going to need quite a few, right? Because of everybody kind of leaving randomly. But yeah, this is my least favorite part about Africa. Now the issue, of course, like I said, that does not generate revenue. You can make a bridge. It's just an expense. So that's why people might not necessarily do it. Now, what was my comment here? I think I said, this is real life for tons of people. Infrastructure needs a rehaul in a lot of places around the world. But I want to show y'all this now. Oh yeah, so I did a Google search, and I want you to understand that this is a Google search, right? It says, can you walk across the Autobahn? Right, the Autobahn, we talking about Germany just now. The Autobahn is their highway, their expressway. And it's you cannot use the Autobahn if you're on a bicycle or moped, nor are you allowed to walk, jog, or run on the Autobahn. You cannot back up, park, stop, pull over. You can't do a lot of stuff. And everything is just telling you, look, pedestrians are never allowed on the Autobahn. This is a recipe for disaster, so on and so forth, right? And so you might say, you might look at the videos and be like, well, yeah, the Autobahn is also connected to, it's also one side, there's nothing on the other side, per se. Let's imagine. I don't know. But you just can't. You just can't walk across the Autobahn. So realistically speaking, African people are kind of messing up in the sense that they're walking across an expressway. And you might be like, well, but yeah, you just said you had to go to the pharmacy in order to thing, right? So I want to show y'all what Accra looks like. This is where I was. This is where the expressway was. So this would be the expressway right here. You know what I'm saying? So technically, it's not over a mountain. The left side is a mountain and the right side is the city. But what happens is that, realistically speaking, the right side is the city and the left side is the ocean. Let's say you're going this way, the left side is the ocean, right? The only thing is that because of how they were doing the city planning, let's say I was here or something, or here, I don't know. Oh, actually, I guess I was in Accra. Let's say I was here, right? The beach, I wanted to go to the beach, then I had to cross the expressway. Or the pharmacy and some houses were on the left side. And so the beach thing is, understandable. But also, if you're thinking about, you're building a city and you're building a road to, say, move resources from, let's say, where are we? Where's the marker? Let's say there's resources in Tema, right? You want to bring the resources in Tema and then travel it down to this port over here. Okay? So you have this port over here and you want the resources from Tema. Essentially, you're driving a lot, you're moving it over here and then you putting it to the port, right? And it doesn't really cut across people's living spaces. But what happens is that the people are building anywhere and everywhere, and so the businesses are set up, so on and so forth. So realistically, you would not like that comes back to central planning. I don't know if you guys ever played this game called Sim City, right? But what you would do is in realism is you would put your you probably put your industry more along this area, right? You probably wouldn't put your residents here, because if the student right here has to go to school over here, he has to now cross over this expressway, right? So you probably would keep all the residents here, and you probably wouldn't put the businesses here. Now, of course, if you want to go to beach businesses, because that's another thing that I went to, like, you know, I sat on the beach front property and like just chilled, or I might have went to the beach, then yeah, but then that's where you would put the overland bridges. You get what I'm saying? That's where you'd put the overland bridges. But the reality is this, that this was a colony set up to move resources from here and move resources from here into the port over here, so that this port can now send a ship over to England. And what we have to do as African people is look back at this and then zone things properly, where we say, hey, you know what? All the schools are here. All the kids will live here, right? You could still have the beachfront businesses, but if you do have a beachfront business, then you will have a land bridge for people to cross over. The issue was that I had to go to the pharmacy. Well, I think I was just looking for some water bottle, and I didn't really have to go across. I had no idea. Like, I was just lost, honestly. But I had to go to the pharmacy, and that's where, you know, I had to like nearly die crossing the street, because there are no stoplights on the freaking expressway. But just to clarify that too, as to why you would have, just to clarify what it takes for us to govern ourselves and what it looks like when we're really governing ourselves. When you are now the mayor of Accra, you are supposed to look at Accra and say, hey, we're going to zone this for residents. We're going to put schools over here and fire departments over here, and we're going to zone this for industry. And we're going to have we're going to have 2-3 commercial beaches. But like what happened here in Accra, there was like a commercial beach lounge over here, commercial beach lounge over here, over here, over here, over here. There was like no real zoning, because they kind of inherited this city, and then they had to just make do with something that was not invented for human enjoyment or for human pleasure. It was invented for resource extraction. You know? And so they take a system meant for resource extraction and build upon it, instead of and of course, you know, the cost at hauling away everything here isn't actually something practical for African people to manage. A lot of us say, why don't we just toss out everything? Well, I mean, are you going to pull out the road? Because when France did that, that the sisters saying, hey, France is so terrible for plugging up the sewage and plugging up this and so forth. But that's like realistically what you would do if you wanted to get rid of their system. So, you know, we also villainize people for that, which we should. You know, they're wazungu, but it is what it is. So I hope you guys like that breakdown. Let's go to the next one. I think we're gonna try to wrap up this thing pretty quickly. Let's see. This says you're safe nowhere. Okay, you're safe nowhere. This is just a video I wanted to show you guys. This is the Nevolutionaries. This is the reality. This is the reality of, hey, look, we go build up a society. We go have some safety, right? What's gonna happen? One of your people is gonna order some rice and get firearms. Okay? One of your people is going to order some rice, get pistols and rifles and firearms, and you're going to be in your peaceful city. You're going to be in your peaceful city. You're going to be in your peaceful city, and they're going to shoot you when you least expect it. Because nobody's checking all the bags of rice. No one's checking all the bags of corn. You understand? You can be easily infiltrated, and you will be easily infiltrated. You understand? This is real life. And see, all these men standing around, they have to stand around and support. Because if you don't, they're gonna gun you down. These weapons are not for shooting white folk. You understand? And see, this is the thing about politicians and politics. Understand this. This is the thing about politicians and politics. They import this stuff and they get these good deals. See, if you're importing from Belarus and you're importing from, the politicians know what's going on. Oh yeah, make sure you get that bag of rice. Okay, make sure you get that bag of rice. It's going to the ports. Make sure you get that bag. This is Africa. Understand, you're going to be at war regardless of what you do. Understand? So I say they kidnapped you for a reason. And so this is going to say, sir, can you stop taking our best and brightest? Some freaking evolutionaries. I'm telling you, man. If you don't understand world, like if you don't study history. So this is some black man. He's going to say, seeing these adverts should make African leaders scared. UK, UAE, and the like are literally ripping the most productive young people out of Africa. The future is coming, and those who are supposed to build it have largely left. Oh, I'm dead. Father of three, modern day capitalists. Apparently, Iron Man. I think it's a good time for a triathlete. I don't know. I actually don't know. But basically, UK is like, hey, we want exceptionally talented people like you to join the largest tech sector in Europe. You know, that's it. Okay? And so he's whining and complaining that other people are offering to give your adults good jobs. But you see where your adults are. Your adults have to, well, not have to, but your adults are like, hey, you know what can make my economy better? If I shoot the next man. These are your adults. These aren't kids. These aren't kids wrestling over, like ordering food in order to have weapons. You understand? You understand the kind of political connections you have to have? Cause see, like when I go to I don't go to McDonald's, but let's say if I go to McDonald's, they don't give a handgun in my meal unless I ask for it. It's not. This is a deliberate thing. If somebody's slipping a handgun in my meal, you know, I mean, it's probably the same thing, you know. If you eat at McDonald's, no disrespect. But oh wait, I'm wondering why I don't have my music on. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? Is this a podcast or is this me talking? Let me get my music up. All right. Anyway, so but you gotta understand that. So I pointed back to y'all. They kidnapped you for a reason. They kidnapped you when you say I want you to join the largest tech company. They kidnapped you because you were a productive, resourceful, trading, intelligent, educated people. Okay? They stole you for a reason. And this is something that's been going on in the ancient world for a long time. Where if you beat another nation, you would then take its people, particularly the skilled people. You say, okay, now doctor, you're gonna serve in the palace of Agrabah. You know, I think that's the fake city in Aladdin. But you're gonna serve in the palace. We're gonna take you from here. You know, you're a good medical professional in Mali, right, in Shanghai. Now you are going to do medical work for the Sultan. In the Arab world. That's all throughout history. You don't just kill everybody. Okay, all right, you're a doctor, good. Oh, good, I'm gonna chop your head off. No, it's like, hey, all right, you lost everything over here. You're not gonna rebuild. You're gonna come back to the Arab world. And that's it. So yeah, like of course they're gonna try to recruit the best tech people. And you asking, hey sir, it looks like you're doing a brain drain on us. That's what they've been doing from like that's how the world works. That's how the world is spinning right now because human beings are pulling other human beings. And that's not literal, obviously, but I'm telling you, like this is some stupid shit. What you have to do is you have to set up an opportunity for your tech geniuses. Otherwise, other people will. Because again, if you're living in that area that we saw, right? You're living in that area where where, for instance, your kid has to cross a highway in order to go to school. In order to come home, you have to cross a highway with no stoplights. Okay, with no stoplights for miles. Just gotta rely on the next human being to not hit them. And of course, accidents happen. Right? Because people are jumping out into the street at all sorts of times. Okay? So now you have to, and then the other thing is that the people who are getting the rice deliveries also are heavily armed, and there's no restriction on that. Okay? And all you want to do is play with machines. All you want to do is program. You want to create an app. You know what I'm saying? You want to play music. You want to make music. You want to throw parties. You want to make video games. You want to play video games. You want to make websites. You want to sell paper. All you want to do is that. And a man next to you, your neighbor, all your like 10 of your neighbors are getting guns, and the food is shortage. A food shortage, and they ordering food to get guns. And you like, well, why are the present parties leaving? And it's not like they're leaving to go to the slums of America or the slums of Europe. You got them living in slums right now. But anyway, let's go to the Pan-Africanists. So this is going to be two things. This is going to be the Dutch wax cloth. We're going to talk about, I just saw this today. I think I just saw this yesterday. And I was like, woohoo! Got me some Pan-Africanists. But of course, this is like Somali. So you're going to see, a lot of times people expect Somali to do this. So this is this Ghanaian woman. By the way, I'm going to turn down the volume, but make sure y'all remind me about that. This Ghanaian woman, basically what she does is she makes a Somali Darakan Bati. Okay, she just makes some clothes. Okay, and then apparently the Somali people are like, "Why is selling our clothes?" This Ghanaian woman is being attacked by the Somali community for cultural appropriating the Somali Darak and Bati. Cultural appropriation is a dumb term. And on top of that, selling and exploiting it at a higher price and calling it her collection. Okay.
In no way or harm do I. First things first. In no way or harm do I mean to offend anyone in general, because I am going to be launching more things over the course of the year, inshallah. I honestly don't have to explain myself, but I just feel like I don't want anyone feeling like I'm disrespecting their culture, which I am not 100%. Like, I had Nia before I started this business, like this collection, this specific collection, like, to be ready, because I know I have TikTok. I've been on TikTok for a long time. I know how certain people can react over things that just don't need to be like overreacted to. But there's 100% backstory on why I decided to sell these. Like, and I'm not gonna stop. I'm gonna be 100% honest here. I'm not gonna stop, cause the girls love it. And I love it. And mashallah, because I love to see a Somalian getting her wedding dress made in Kente. And Kente is a Ghanaian. Okay, so go fast forward. This is
Back it up. Oh, guys, I'm tired. Oh, wow, that's crazy, because I don't even goddamn fault. Like this, like that.
Oh, actually, I can't play the music. Ah, shit. Fuck. All right. Anyway, so it says this is her and her friends on TikTok dancing with the Darak on and promoting the Darak collection. So basically, there's music. It's some stupid music, but yeah. Apparently, I'm not supposed to play music. If a video has music over it, you're not supposed to. Like, they're gonna just be like, copyright, and then just cut it out.
First things first.
I think they'll make me edit the video to mute the video. It's stupid. Anyway, but yeah, what I want to say is this. These are quote unquote black folk or people in Africa who are complaining that an African woman is selling African products. So or selling products that other people are doing. So she said this is her Instagram owning and retailing, selling the Bati and Darak. Here's more proof. Sneak peek on a new collection. Yeah, she's doing it. The fact that other Africans are defending her and saying all Africans have the same culture is a problem. Just because we have the same continent doesn't mean we are a monolith. We understand a Japanese wear a kimono and an Indian wears a sari. There's a huge difference between selling someone's cultural clothing rather than wearing and appreciating it. The fact that she's gaslighting Somali women on TikTok is really disgusting, and disabling her comments is quite telling, honestly. Somalia needs to trademark the Bati and Dirag at this point and make a profit from it. Now we are getting, gotta compete on Ajnabis. I guess it's probably like an insult, maybe stealing our cultural clothing due to it being popular, right? Why is this even interesting? Well, this is the thing. Like I said, you go back to the Dutch wax cloth. So what is now considered traditional African clothing actually comes out of Denmark. Okay? The reality is this, that black folk, like when it comes to business, you can't even complain. You can't even complain. What if somebody else manufactures and sells something? Like, that's called the free market. And not to say that you're a proponent of free market, but the reality is that if an African person says, hey, look, like if you're buying it, who gives a shit? If you don't want to buy it because the other person's not your nationality, that's on you. It's weird, but that's on you. Okay? And this is like, obviously, I mean, this really shouldn't be in a fan of Africanist, but you know, I just had to say, yeah, this is that quote unquote African infighting that we as a people have to understand and get rid of. This is the enemies within, right? And last but not least, we got Wode Maya, Wode Maya doing what Wode Maya is going to do. And some of you might be like, this isn't that bad. I don't know. It's up to y'all what y'all think. Quote unquote free market, like I just said. Basically, it starts off with this. My sister's getting married this weekend, and Casa Preco decided to sponsor the whole wedding with water and beverages. I'm grateful, Chairman. So, this is a black company. Comes through. Says, yo, y'all want drinks? Y'all want beverages? We are a beverage company. You're Wode Maya. Appreciate you. So then the black person comes through and says, hey, your influence is definitely reaping good benefits, bro. Keep the good work up. I want at Elon Musk to sponsor my wedding with Tesla automobiles, bro. Right? I want Elon Musk, right? And it's like, okay, I get it. Right? Now, Wode Maya says, yo, Elon Musk. My name is Wode Maya. I'm Africa's most influential YouTuber. Right, and this is the thing about us as a people, man. So he's the most influential YouTuber, allegedly, right? And Elon Musk is the richest man in the world, and he's trying to talk to Elon Musk like they equals, but whatever, right? Oh, like they equals in terms of caliber, you know, or in terms of capacity, you know. One of them is essentially the one of the like just a I don't even know actually. It just. Like I don't even know if he's the most influential YouTuber, honestly. But like he's just an entertainer. The other one's like the richest businessman on the planet, right? Anyway, so yeah, like this guy has 82,000 followers and this guy has 92 million followers, right? But anyway, so just, can we collaborate on how to convince more Africans to use more sustainable cars like Tesla? Patiently waiting for your response. And you see, again, you know, one of the things about this obviously is this, you know, why you got to bring this white boy in. But the other thing is this. If you're trying to collaborate with Tesla, you should be finding out a way to improve their bottom line in the sense of not bottom line, but like, let's say you're supposed to have some sort of productive capability. Like white boys who write Elon Musk are like, hey, I know a way to create to double your photoelectronic capacity. You know? I know a mineral composition, right, that if we use it to replace your circuitry, is going to improve so on and so forth. I know a programming, not this, hey, and can we collaborate on the Africans using more sustainable car? Just selling out to sell out. Just selling out to sell out. And not having anything useful, not having anything productive. Just selling out to sell out. And the thing is that African people put themselves into this man. And so you look at the comments, you look at the quote tweets, well, some of the comments are like, delete! You know, I know this brother, he's a good brother. He says, yo, Wode Maya, blah, blah, blah. But, and you might be like, everybody turned against him. Not everybody. Because some people are praising him for this. Some people are backing him up. Elon is my best friend. Hope to discuss with this, blah, blah, blah. Somebody's like, weh, no. You're not that guy, man. Somebody, no. I'm a bookman. It's like, right? But then look at this. Elon Musk, let this collaboration happen because we need more sustainable cars. Big energy, fire. Elon Musk, look at this, man. Come on. Look at us over here. Look at us over here. We want your attention here. Come back home. You understand? Elon Musk, come over here. Should see this and make it happen. They're doing it. They have this access to a global network. Black people have an access to a global network, a global capacity, a global anything. We have it. And what do we use it for? This man has the biggest platform in Africa, or one of the biggest platforms in Africa. And what is he using it for? To call to call some apartheid businessman back into Africa. You already know. So we're talking about the enemies within, and you already know. Like, I personally never really went for. I mean, I think one of my probably does have some good videos. I don't really see too many. Occasionally, I would see some, and it's nice from a interview perspective. So I would look at it from that in that sense. But you have to understand that a lot of African people, okay, all over the world, a lot of African people will turn you in when the money comes. Okay? And you just got to realize that. A lot of the reason why, shout out to this brother, Organic African Paradigm, he would tell you, he says a lot of reason why there's a lot of corruption in Africa is because a lot of Africans are corrupt. You can't expect the cream of the crop to surface up to the top. I'm telling you that. You can't expect the cream of the crop to surface up to the top all the time. Sometimes it's not the cream. A lot of times, most of the times. But it is what it is. I think that's the end of the podcast. So let me just see what the comments are. Real Black Gentleman says, OMG, them kids leaping over the medians. I play SimCity. Yeah, I played SimCity back in the day. City planning is key. Pollution. And he says, iron is an essential mineral. Africans don't culturally appropriate other Africans. We just copy and give them props, right? Kofi says Somali don't like black people. Real Black Gentleman says, girl, work your threads, right? Okay. I wouldn't say it like that, but yeah, I got you. Then Real Black Gentleman says, wow, sustainable means spend more of what little money Africans have for some fake ethical reason. Actually, there was an article on the Discord. Somebody put up that this guy is using, like, he's charging his things with electronic, like through biodiesel. He's just pulling a fraud. But again, that's the matter. You have this guy going around, he's bigging up black businesses, and a black business even sponsors his stuff. And instead of going for more black people, going to raise the profile of more black people, he's like, can I help raise the profile of an apartheid businessman? Okay? Afro Jam showed up. Afro Jam says anything for money, sickening. And Kofi says good stream. So thank you, family, for coming through. I'm just going to shout out everybody, I guess. I think I could go back to the top and see everybody. So shout out to Kofi, obviously. Shout out to Real Black Gentleman. Shout out to Lero. Shout out to Osvizor. Shout out to Mr. Untouchable. He's on the program with Bit of Medicine. Yesterday we was kicking it. Yeah. And then there's I guess Afro Jam. And that's pretty much it. But thank you, everybody. Obviously, I'm at 999 subscribers. Hopefully, by next week, I'll have 1,000. It might actually be that I can get a super chat, too. Who knows? Might be able to get like an ad in the middle. Be like, hey, look at this ad right here. Boom. Black Power, I might advertise, what's his name? Wode Maya's channel. Now I'm just playing. I don't know what's going to happen. But until next week, Appreciate everybody for coming through. And of course, we're going to keep up this good fight. But until next week, Shem Imhotep, Anku Ja Seneb Neb, Amen, Ma'at, Dua Netcher. And shout out Afrojam. Thanks for watching. Bit of Meds and me. And of course, make sure y'all check out the whole KDWZ family. And y'all can get some shirts. Don't forget to order some shirts. It's going through, look at the description. Peace.